Hi, my name is Heather Jameson, and I want to welcome you all here today. I am going to share a new health technology with you that originated in Norway and is now available in the United States. So I'm going to share my screen. Thank you again for joining me. So the focus of today's presentation is cellular health and gut health. This is an evidence-based, test-based, science-based health system that you now get to learn about. And hopefully it's something that you might find solutions for in your own life. So one thing I always like to ask people is, what health problems are you experiencing today? Or what health problems do you see around you that you are concerned about? Or what health problems are you hoping to prevent? Maybe something that you've seen run in your family and you're wanting to prevent that for yourself. Again, my name is Heather Jameson. I am a health coach, and one of my passions is inflammation, cellular health, and gut health. And also, I love getting to the root problem, to the root cause. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on anything. If we can get to the root cause and the root system, then that's what I want to do. And that's what I love about this system that you're hearing about today. First of all, I'm a mother. I have 4 children. My middle children are twins. I love to travel. I love good food. And I just enjoy life and being able to live life in a healthy way. So my history began with, my health history began with my mom. When I was about 12 and 13 years old, my mom had a brain tumor. And up until that point, we ate pretty typical, I would say, of the American diet. Lots of juice, soda, white refined flour, refined sugar, pizza, lots of these things that we have become staples for Americans. But after she had her brain tumor, my mom wanted to do whatever she could to support her body and to develop better health. So she started making changes. She learned how to cook more nutritious food, and she brought me along in the process. I was interested in learning, and so she taught me these things as well. Now, unfortunately, several years later, my mom did get breast cancer, and she unfortunately passed away from that several years ago. And not only did she get breast cancer, but my grandma and my aunt have both had breast cancer as well. So knowing that this is something that has affected my family, it of course affects, it could possibly affect future generations. And that is a concern of mine, is being able to prevent breast cancer for the future generations. And then I've also had my own health concerns. Always had gut issues my whole life, lots of naturopath doctors to figure out why I was having muscle problems, general pain without any explanation, migraines, lots of different things. And really the final straw for me was about a year ago when I started developing pain that I really couldn't recover from, pain that was making it difficult to work out. If I did, I was not able to work out more than once a week because the recovery was just too difficult. So this really pushed me on a quest to wonder, if I'm eating healthy and taking care of myself, why don't I feel as good as I should? I really was concerned that I wasn't feeling as good as I should, given the way that I was eating and trying to do everything right as much as possible. And I, of course, have concerns as well, because I have these 4 to look after, and I want to help them in whatever way I can. So I started to educate myself, knowing that I do believe health begins one step at a time, it also begins with a good foundation. And so I believe what I have found in this health protocol is a really great foundation for the basis of health because it begins on a cellular level. And one thing to consider when you're starting on a health journey is, what is your why? I sort of asked you this at the beginning. Are you wanting to prevent health issues that might run in your family? Are you wanting to help other people? Are you dealing with a health concern that you are looking for solutions for? So I just encourage you all to be thinking about what sticks out in your mind in terms of your health and your goals throughout the rest of this presentation. So the foundation of health really is two things. It's our cellular health and our gut health. Without proper health in these two areas of the body really can't function like it's supposed to. Our bodies are amazing machines made up of millions of cells. And if we give our bodies the things that it needs to function and to heal, our bodies can heal themselves. They just need the right nutrition. Our body is a very advanced structure. And if we can't have that foundation, then the structure is going to be wobbly, not going to last as long, and it's not going to be supported the way that it needs to. So how can we expect our body to function if we're not building it with the right building blocks? There's a saying that you can build a boat out of water, but how long will it float? You can build your body out of the wrong building blocks or not give your body what it needs. And your body wants to stay alive. Your body will do whatever it can, but at what cost? And how is your body compensating in order to make up for a lack of nutrients? So again, a healthy body begins with a healthy cell. So let's look at the cell here for a minute. The cell function is to communicate with other cells. It functions to allow nutrients in and out. It allows new proteins to form. It houses DNA. Lots of different things happen in the cell, as you might remember from science class. So two things that our cells have to have that are essential are omega-6s and omega-3s. So these are essential fatty acids, and of course they're essential, so you have to have them in order for your cell membrane to function like it's supposed to. Now we need them both. So omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. So we need these so that if you get a cut or an injury, your body will create inflammation to tell you that something is wrong. Then we need the omega-3s that come in and put out the fire of the inflammation. So the omega-3s have an anti-inflammatory action. Now, knowing that, let's look at the cell. If your cell membrane has the right number of omega-3s and omega-6s, you get a cell that has a very permeable cell wall. The cell is soft and nutrients are allowed to enter and waste is allowed to exit like a healthy cell should function. If you have an unhealthy cell with too many omega-6s, what happens is you get an imbalance. Then you have a cell that starts to look like a hard, dried up raisin. Instead of a cell membrane that is soft and permeable, it's hard and not permeable at all. And nutrients have a much harder time getting in, and waste products have a much harder time getting out. In addition, if you look over here, the green balls represent the essential fatty acids. And what happens is when the cell can't function with the right number of omega-3s and omega-6s like it needs, the hormone receptors on the cell membrane cannot communicate between the cells, and you get hormone receptors that cannot attach to the cell and function properly. So it really begins to mess up communication between the cells and between the hormones and the rest of the body because your cells are not able to function like they're supposed to. So everyone knows that omega-3 is good. You've probably heard about fish oil and omega-3s and how you need to get omega-3s and maybe they're good for your brain. But beyond that, did you know that omega-3s are needed every time a cell is regenerated? We regenerate about 2 million cells every second. So every second we regenerate 2 million cells. So if you're not getting the omega-3 that you need, and your cell is trying to regenerate without omega-3s, makes one wonder what's happening to my cells if they don't have what they need to regenerate, right? So what will happen is your body will start to compensate and will start to suffer. The way that it will compensate is your body will start using more omega-6s because it's just trying to take whatever it can to function. But then you get more and more inflammation because that's what omega-6s do, is they create inflammation. So according to the European Food Safety Authority, we need omega-3s for brain, eye, nerve development, normal brain function, vision, cardiac function, maternal health in pregnancy and nursing. We need essential 3 fatty acids during pregnancy as well to help the baby grow, for our digestive tract, for our mood, for the anti-inflammatory properties that it has, for the maintenance of normal blood, cholesterol, and for cell structure. So for the rest of the presentation, we're mainly focusing on those 2 things, anti-inflammatory action and the membrane cell structure. So looking at the body, we can see the red cell over here that looks more like a dry, shriveled raisin. This is an unhealthy cell that has too much omega-6s. So it's become hard and rigid. Again, the waste isn't able to leave like it's supposed to, and the nutrients can't get in very well. So what's happening is your body isn't able to absorb the nutrients like it's supposed to. So even though I was eating healthy and I thought I was doing things right, my body wasn't even able to absorb all of the nutrients that it needed in order for my brain function, my hair, my heart, my skin, my organs, my joints, my muscles, all of these things, from my head down to my toes. But then on the right, you see, if you do have a cell that has the right numbers of omega-3s and omega-6s, that's going to affect your body in all those areas, but in a positive way. Now you'll be able to absorb nutrients like you're supposed to, like we were made to. You're going to be able to have healthier function throughout your body. And the good news is you don't have to eat 100% perfectly all the time to reap the benefits. So let's look at inflammation here for a second. Inflammation is the root cause of most diseases. A lot of diseases that begin in itis, like arthritis, those are symptoms. That's how you can relate those to inflammation. Anything that begins in itis is an inflammatory condition, as well as multiple sclerosis, IBS, Alzheimer's, diabetes can be, allergies, eczema, and skin issues. These are all things that start to develop because there's too much inflammation in the body, too much of those omega-6s. So why are we so out of balance today? Why are there so many more omega-6s to omega-3s? And we can really look at the timeline here as 1960 and the end of World War II as a really pivotal point. It was at this point that food manufacturers were wanting to create food on a much larger scale. We needed to. We also needed food cheaper and available more quickly. So we started altering how our food was created. We started developing more oils and corn oil and soybean oil and these things that are now in our foods and in a lot of our foods. We started developing more and more fast food, and all of these are very, very high in omega-6. And on top of that, a lot of our livestock has now been fed, is not grass-fed, some is, but the majority of our livestock is fed on corn, which is also high in omega-6s. So then as you're eating that beef, your beef no longer has omega-3 in it like it used to, but it's full of omega-6s. And furthermore, our farming techniques have changed over the years. The soil is not the quality that it used to be because we're not rotating crops. We're not letting the soil rest. We're not grazing cattle and using the manure on our fields anymore. There just is not the microbes in the soil that are actually really helpful and useful to our bodies like there used to be. So our food has lost a lot of nutrients as well. Now, what science says is that they recommend an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 3 to 1. And for proper DNA formation, we need to have a ratio of 1:1, one omega-6 to one omega-3. And the turning point is really 4:1. If you have 4 omega-6s to 1 omega-3, that's when you're starting to get too much inflammation. We're seeing in 2002 in the US, there was an average of 15:1, and now it's as high as 40:1, some cases even 100:1 is what they're discovering. 100 omega-6s to 1 omega-3, and this is according to PubMed. So the science has begun showing the health benefits of omega-3s. There's a lot of studies that are beginning to show that there is a decrease in mortality related to an increase in omega-3s. They're seeing a decreased risk in breast cancer, a decrease in adverse consequences of asthma, and various different chronic diseases as well. And there are health benefits at every stage of life, all the way from in utero to 100 years old to the very end of your life. Omega-3 is always beneficial. And again, it is essential to our health. So there are organizations that recognize the importance of a healthy ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s and the correlation that it does have on cardiovascular health and disease. And these are what we're finding in America, is we're finding that 83% of Americans do not take an omega-3 supplement, and they have an average ratio of 25:1 omega-6s to omega-3s. 16% are already taking an omega-3 supplement, but they are still out of balance with the ratio of 16:1. So that tells us that even though they're taking omega-3 supplements, they're not effective. And only 1% in America have a healthy ratio of 3:1. So there is a solution for balance so that you can have a ratio of 3:1 or better in 120 days. And that's what I want to share with you now, is there's a solution. So this solution has put together by a scientific advisory board of some of the world's greatest minds in wellness and nutrition and test-based nutrition. So the test-based system is a test that is sent to your house, and you can take a very simple blood test, you mail it back in. Then you can have a balanced oil. It comes in either a fluid, capsules. Aqua X is an option that is for those who have difficulty digesting fats, and even a vegan option. And then in 120 days, you can retake your test and you can find out how your body is doing since you first began the system. And the tests are analyzed by a third-party testing center. It's all double-blind. They have no idea who you're connected with or even who you are. And these are some of the hospitals and universities that use this testing center that you can see. They are an independent laboratory that is well-versed and very reputable. So Zinzino is the company behind this health-based, test-based health system. And they really are the pioneers of the test-based personalized nutrition, where you can see, are my supplements working? Is the balance oil effective? Is my body getting the results that it should be? And this number is out of date now. They have tested over 800,000 essential fatty acid tests. And out of those, about 95% were out of balance. And so here's an example of what the test will show you when you get your test back. And I'm going to go into more detail when I show you my test on the next screen. So here's my test results. And what it's showing me is the first result I'll see is my omega-6 to omega-3 balance. So this is telling me that I'm unbalanced and I have a ratio of 24.5:1. So that means I definitely have too many omega-6s and not omega-3s. And my protection value is how protected my cells are from either a disease I have getting worse or getting a disease because of the inflammation being too high. So my protection value is 0. which means I have zero protection against disease that would be caused by inflammation. My cell membrane fluidity is testing my cell membrane to say how soft and pliable is that cell. Is my cell able to get in the nutrients that it needs and get the waste out like it's supposed to? And that number should be 4:1 or lower. And then the AA index, this is an essential fatty acid that is very closely related to inflammation. So if your levels here are elevated, then you're more likely to have inflammation. The omega-3 index is, I like to look at the omega-3 index. If your omega-3 index is below 8%, then you are not able to put out that fire of omega-6s. You have to have 8% or higher of an omega-3 index in order for the omega-3s to start putting out the inflammation in your body. So clearly you can see that my omega-3 index is too low and I'm not able to fight off any inflammation. And my mental strength, this is how much EPA and DHA you have in your cells to, of course, support your brain health. Here's some examples of some other test results and what they look like and what some of the numbers have been. And these are all, excuse me, I'm going back. These are all test results from the first test. I haven't taken my second test yet, so I can't show you how I've improved and what my results are. But 95% of the people or thereabouts are balanced or on their way to being very nearly balanced at that 120 days mark. And the reason it's 120 days is it takes about 120 days for the blood cells in your body to be regenerated. So the idea is once you've been on the balance oil, taking it for 120 days and then some, all the cells in your body have now been regenerated with omega-3, and you should be able to start functioning at a more optimal rate. And you don't have to just take my word for it. There is a Facebook group called Omega-3. We share experiences, and you can read real testimonies from real people about their experience with the balance oil and the other Zinzino products. The thing that I love is you can type in the search bar of a certain condition that you have or that you're curious about. You could type in blood pressure, you could type in migraines, and you can see if there's anything that someone has posted on that issue. And why is the balance oil different? There's other fish oils on the markets. What makes the balance oil different? If we're seeing that 16% of the population is using fish oil and they're still out of balance, what's the difference here? So the thing about Zinzino's balance oil is that it is 40% olive oil. So that means it is filled with healthy polyphenols that come from olive oil. So the polyphenols help the omega-3 bind to the cell wall even more. And they also prevent oxidation. So you're not going to have the balance oil taste like fish. If you've ever taken fish oil and it had a fishy taste or you were burping it up, then oxidation has already started to occur and there's already some spoiling beginning to happen and your fish oil is not very fresh. The other thing is that it's all from wild caught Scandinavian fish. So you know that there is no mercury and the fish are healthy and nothing toxic. And one amazing thing is that it's also bioavailable for up to 35 hours in your body. So other cod liver oil, krill oil, and things, a lot of them are only bioavailable for about 5 hours in your system. So this balance oil is well over a day in your system doing what it needs to do. And it's also designed to correlate with your body weight. So your dosage depends on your body weight, so you know that you're getting the right amount. And just some other resources on the topic are some books by Dr. Paul Clayton. These are books on inflammation and your immune system. So if you are looking for other ways to manage inflammation through diet, he has some really great information. I would highly recommend it. And the last thing I want to touch on is the gut really quick here. So you may have heard that the gut is the immune system to the body. Or maybe you've heard that the gut is the brain of the body. The brain communicates very closely with the gut, and the gut is where the outside world meets the inside world of our body. And it's very important to the function of the body and the immune system and the absorption of nutrients. So what lives in our gut? There are about 100 trillion bacteria, good and bad, that live in your gut. That's about 10 times more bacteria in our gut than cells in our entire body. So everything you eat is either helping the good bacteria or the bad bacteria in your body. You may have heard of leaky gut. Leaky gut occurs when there is too much bad bacteria in the body, and you start to have holes in the lining of the gut. We'll get to that a little bit more in just a second. But some symptoms of leaky gut might be sugar cravings, weight gain, fatigue, headaches, brain fog, a weak immune system, maybe some food intolerances and autoimmune disease. So you're welcome to look up leaky gut more on your own. So leaky gut is, again, when that bad bacteria creates holes in the mucosa, which is that gut lining. And then you have things leaking in from your gut to your bloodstream that you don't want there. So here's another picture. These little nodules up here, these are the villi in the gut lining. And so what happens is when you have too much of the bad bacteria, they start to eat little holes in the villi. And then the bad bacteria can get through and leak into the bloodstream. This can cause autoimmune issues, food intolerance, and again, inflammation, malabsorption. And, you know, it's interesting that Americans right now are consuming more food than ever before. However, we have more malnutrition than ever before. And this is malnutrition B. This is not malnutrition that comes from an underconsumption of nutrients. This is malnutrition that comes from a consumption of too many foods, but not the right foods. And so we're creating malabsorption because of our diets and because of our inflammation. Another thing that contributes to this is toxins, stress, pesticides in our foods, and antibiotics. All of these contribute to an imbalance in our gut flora. And some of the bad foods would be white flour, refined sugars, fried foods, again, those lots of omega-6s in our oils and different things that we're eating, too much alcohol. And so what can you do to get better gut health? According to a WHO study, proper fiber intakes colon cancer, breast cancer, heart attack, and stroke by at least 20%. And the average diet does not contain enough prebiotic fiber. 9 out of 10 people eat too little fiber in their diet. And even if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and you're eating a lot of fiber, there's particular fibers out there that are very specific to helping heal the gut. And even though I was eating healthy and I thought I was eating lots of fiber, it wasn't always enough of the right fiber that I needed specifically to help heal my gut lining. Other ways we can balance the gut are through exercise, avoiding some of those foods I mentioned, eating more fermented foods and probiotics, and then of course, prebiotic fibers. So prebiotic fibers is something that are really, really good for your gut because they give that good flora in your gut the nutrients that it needs. It's like food for the good bacteria. So not only are you keeping the good bacteria, you are helping them multiply and grow in volume, which is what you need to keep that gut healthy. And so it's in the prebiotic fibers that Zinzino has, is it's going to help to balance your intestinal flora increase that friendly bacteria, which is going to boost your immune system, help heal digestive problems. And the thing that I love about this is that as your stomach acid is digesting these prebiotic fibers, what happens is it creates something called butyric acid. And that butyric acid actually works to strengthen that intestinal wall and to repair holes in that mucosa so that the harmful bacteria can no longer be released into your bloodstream. So what they do, they also help to balance cholesterol, reduce blood sugar after meals, healthier bowel function, cleans out your large intestine, and is again balancing that intestinal flora, which is so important to your health, so important. So if you can help your gut restore balance, then the amazing thing is that your gut is going to help you find greater balance and health from a very holistic point of view, where everything is just functioning better like it's designed to. So I already talked about how our food is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. And you can see here how the difference is displayed from 1985 to 2002. Bananas have 95% less B vitamins than they used to. Broccoli has 73% calcium than it did in 1985. And carrots have 70% less magnesium than they used to. So our food is just not as nutritious as it used to be, unfortunately. So one thing that Zinzino has done in order to combat this is they have developed a multi-immune food supplement, which is giving your body all of the nutrients that it needs. And there is another version that also works to support bone and joint function as well. And this is Extend Plus. And according to Dr. Colin Robertson, who is someone I would encourage you to look up, very fascinating gentleman who has helped some really amazing athletes do some really amazing things. And he works from a very scientific level of helping discover what is at a very individualized level going to help their bodies perform in order to do the amazing feats like paddle across the Atlantic and climb Mount Everest. And he works to help their bodies function in a way and recover in a way that they can do these things. And so his opinion comes with a lot of merit. So for him to say that it is the single best multivitamin in the world means that he's pretty educated on the topic. And so I would encourage you to decide today if you want to know your cell's health. And if you want to target one aspect of your body, such as cellular health or gut health, or if you're wanting to do multiple aspects of your body. If you want to work from a nutritional standpoint, a cellular standpoint, and a gut standpoint. And the balance test is available to you. And the balance test gets shipped to your house. Very easy to take, and it is $165 separately, but you can order it with the balance oil for just $99, which is a really big savings. You would spend more going to get your blood work done by the doctor than you would here on this test. Very affordable. And I just want to show you, here's a picture of the balance oil. And this is the wrong numbers here. With the balance oil with the test is now $99. And the great thing is that if you recommend it to 4 friends, then you get free products. They also have a system where you can, if you wanted to hit your body from all 3 sides, from your cellular health, your gut health, and a nutritional health, you can buy all 3 together. And the last thing I want to mention is the Viva. So Viva is, they call it a spa for the mind. And I would say that that is very accurate. It can help promote a good night's sleep and also peace of mind, helps with depression, anxiety, and really just gives it's hard to explain, gives a feeling of mental support, strength, peace, and relaxation kind of all at the same time. There also is a system that includes the Viva as well. And so I would encourage you to decide where you are on your health journey and where you would like to be, and if Zinzino is to be a part of your health journey moving forward. And if it is, then you can decide to know your cellular's health, and you can get that test and get going on seeing how things can improve for you. You can find me on Instagram at Heather Jameson. You can also look up more information on omega-3s at Google Scholar. And you can join that Facebook page, Omega-3s We Share Experiences. And then, of course, Zinzino is on Instagram as well. So I want to thank you for joining my presentation today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions at all, or you'd like to know how you can move forward, then I would encourage you to get in touch with me or whoever it was that introduced you to Zinzino and to this presentation. Thank you so much.